Most people think that writing content with AI means putting a prompt into ChatGPT and getting an output copy-paste, which is fine, it's simple, but if you want content that actually delivers engagement, it's a lot more complicated than that. In this video, I'm going to break down how you can use AI to get the best possible content generated. If you're new here, please like and subscribe, and let's jump into this. At the end of this video, I'm going to talk about tools you can use, but starting with an example, how do I use AI content every day? I'm using OpenClaw, and every day I get a morning brief. It tells me what stories I should be paying attention to. It proposes multiple TikTok or YouTube short scripts because I'm very focused on video, and then it gives me ideas for X and LinkedIn posts. It also gives me ideas for my business posts, and it flags things for my YouTube long form video. It takes all of these morning briefs and it pushes this into Notion for me. So for example, I get multiple TikTok YouTube shorts every morning and I look at it and decide what I want to use. When I decide on a script, I tell my agent, hey, that looks good. And then it goes and generates a X post and a LinkedIn post, and it fills in all the metadata for me. So for example, this is a TikTok video. It's got a short description as well as a TikTok caption, including the hashtags to use. I have a lot of fields in here because I've been experimenting with different workflows, but I like working in Notion, so it pushes everything to Notion for me. Here's the script that it generates. I like to fill in the blanks, so I only get bullet points, not full sentences for the most part. And then it tells me all the sources it used to generate this script, and it gives me example B-rolls that I can use for the editing or my editor can record, and then it gives me all the metadata for YouTube Shorts as well when it's a short. So here's title options, descriptions, tags. Titles are one of the most important things on YouTube, so it's something that I write a lot of myself, but I always get AI to suggest multiple ones for me because sometimes one really hits. Now back to how you can get some of the same results with your own content. The most important thing you need to generate is a voice guide. Without a voice guide, you're going to get generic, forgettable output, and every AI is going to sound the same. But with a voice guide, you can get a tone and a sentence structure that actually sounds like you. And one thing a lot of people do here, including myself, is tell your AI to actually make mistakes. When I write on X, it's very casual, and I actually purposely use AI to make spelling mistakes and drop grammar. Because it has real references from my real writing, and I can be slightly dyslexic, the AI actually misspells words that I misspell in real life. To build your voice guide, you need to give it 10 plus examples of your writing. And what I did, because I'm very focused on video and YouTube, I actually took 10 of my old YouTube scripts, got the transcript, and fed that into AI as my voice guide. You can use whatever tool you want to make the voice guide. ChatGPT or Claude both work great. It will give you a series of questions that you can answer, and then you give it writing samples to make the guide. Make sure you define banned phrases and cliches. Make sure you include sentence patterns you like and example structure, and make sure you update this as a living doc. We're going to talk about automated updates later, but you need to be going in at least once a week and reviewing your voice guide to make sure it's still accurate. The negative keyword list is a very important aspect that a lot of people miss. This is one that will instantly make your AI content sound less like AI and more like a human. These are actual words that OpenAI and Anthropic defaults to. You can ask the systems and they'll give you a list. OpenAI defaults to things like discover, explore, unlock, where Anthropic often says things like it's worth noting. Here's the thing. You may also notice that AI constantly uses the M dash, the long dash. These are all things you can put in as rules not to use. If you've ever used a tool like Midjourney for graphics, negative prompting is a huge portion of that, and the same goes with writing. The next thing you need is platform-specific rules, because the same content does not work on X, LinkedIn, and Facebook. You need a different format for different platforms, all generated from one idea. For example, for X, I like it to be short and punchy. I don't use hashtags because those don't work anymore. You don't want links in the body of your post for X either, or the algorithm will suppress it. On the opposite side, for LinkedIn, I do things like thought leadership. And if you're doing things like blogs, newsletters, you need to make sure it's SEO optimized. These are all different kinds of writing that you can get from a single prompt if you build in platform-specific rules when you're prompting. Prompting is probably the part we're going to speak about the least because it's the most well covered on YouTube, but this is a simple guide you can use when coming up with prompts. Make sure you have a goal, an audience, and a role. Because when you tell your AI to write something about AI, it's very different than write a 280 character X post announcing my new video on AI agents. And once again, the first part of this, the X 280 characters, is going to change depending on the platform. But you can do this all in one prompt if you use the right tools, which we'll talk about in a second. Make sure you define your audience, because if you Say you're writing for small business owners or AI developers, that's going to give you very different output. And finally, make sure your AI knows what is its role. Is it a content strategist who explains complex topics like a knowledgeable friend? This is one I use a lot. Or is it more like a lecturer, a teacher, someone very scientific? Now, because these are a lot of rules, we have the voice guide, we have content-specific prompts, we have prompting rules, you need to make this repeatable. You need to be able to every day get good output from your AI. And this involves a few things. Number one is batch generation, not just different batches for X, LinkedIn, YouTube, but also different examples of, for example, here's 3 different ways you can write for X based on this idea so that you can choose one and work off the best result. The same thing you do for visuals when you're making an image with AI, you don't just get one output, you get multiple. You need to be using templates, the template for your voice guide, the template for your rules, and the template for your prompts. This way you can swap in topics, swap in platforms, and you will get consistent results at scale. This video is about the principles you need to build tools to do this and how to instantly get better content. If you want a detailed video about how to build an exact system like this, let me know down in the comments and we can go over some of these tools in more details. I used to use ChatGPT skills a lot. You can give it several files and you can tell it exactly how you want the output to look every single time. And then all you have to do is give it a simple idea like, hey, today write about this news on AI. And it will go through your voice guide. It will go through your platform rules. It'll go through your output rules and it'll be like, hey, here's 3 X posts. Here's 3 link posts. Here's 3 video scripts. Or you can give it keywords like, if I say video script, give me this. If I say X post, give me that. These are rules that you can build into ChatGPT skills. You can also build them into Claude projects, or you can use a tool like OpenClaw that I'm using currently with AI agents to get repeatable results every single time. This is what you should be going for, is scaling what you're doing so you're not having to memorize and input 3 different PDFs into your ChatGPT window every single time. You need to build skills and you need to build workflows. You can use things like N8N if you want even to get this every single day. And if you use more complicated things like workflows like AI agents, all of this can be done automatically on a schedule, and you can do things like push it into Notion like I am. But pick whatever fits your workflow and your business. Now, the final piece of this, and this is the one that I think is really difficult to get right, this is the review loop, because you don't want to just use the exact same skill for ChatGPT every single time. You need to be updating it based on the results. You need to be looking at the output and changing the input, and you need to be looking at your statistics. What was the actual reach? What were the actual number of views on YouTube? What was the watch time? And make your tool better over time with a feedback loop. And then you need to flag what you like and what you don't like. Give your AI both positive and negative feedback, and then you revise the results and you get more. But once again, you will do this every single time. You'll get a draft, you will give it reviews, and you'll get a second draft. But if you're not building a system where it learns over time to take your feedback and implement it for the next time, that's what you need to be working towards. This gets a lot more complicated, and so I'm actually building a tool that I'm almost ready to share with all of you, where AI will learn your voice, learn your brand, and suggest content for you every single day, and it'll actually learn based on what you tell it you like and you don't like to get better and better results. This is something I'm building. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to check that out as well, but feel free to ask me questions. That's it for this video. There's basically 5 pillars you should be using every time you create content with AI. You need a voice guide. It needs to include negative keywords and phrases. You need platform-specific rules. You should be getting batch outputs and reusable templates and tools so that you can do this at scale. And then you need a loop that catches your feedback and learns over time. If you can build those 5 things, then you're going to have amazing AI content that does not sound like it's generated by AI. I'm planning to make a part 2 of this video where I talk about graphics and media that you can add to your text to get better content. Keep an eye out for that video because I'll link it here somewhere. Thank you for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll see you all very soon with another video.